Hello, viewers. Welcome to Sumita Roy's English Classroom. This is Professor Sumita Roy, and today we have a video for advanced grammar. Many of you have been asking for grammar videos. Already the channel has many grammar videos which you can find in the playlists and the podcasts. You can check which of the items of grammar you would like to learn, and I'm giving you regular tests also in the classroom. Now, I would request all of you who are subscribing to check the list, because without checking what is already there, if you just send me a comment, then I need to search and give you the video, which takes a lot of time. So I'm requesting all of you to look for the videos once you have subscribed. Just go to the video list and check. In the playlist, you will get a series of videos on that particular aspect of grammar or speaking or beginners. The channel has videos for every level. It has videos for every topic. Every item of learning a language and literature are uploaded on this channel. We have more than 225 videos, and each video will help you improve yourself. So please do that. Today we shall talk about conditional clauses which have been requested in the comments box again and again. I didn't want to do conditional clauses so soon because it is a highly advanced lesson of grammar. But since you've been asking, I have simplified it as much as possible. Please watch the video completely, like and share, and of course, comment by saying what more you want, because this video is based on all your comments. Let us begin. Conditional clauses, their rules and examples, and how to frame sentences using conditional clauses. Let us begin with examples of some conditional clauses in sentences. A clause, as all of you may remember, and I have done it already in a video on phrases and clauses. A clause is a group of words which makes sense, but it doesn't make complete sense like a sentence does. It needs to have a verb in it. A finite verb has to be there in a clause. A group of words which makes sense but has no finite verb is called a phrase. Now here, whatever is underlined in this presentation is the conditional clause. Conditional meaning that it is a possibility. It is not a certainty. This condition is indicated by the word if or unless. That is the conjunction, because a clause requires to be joined to a sentence using a conjunction. I have done an entire video on conjunction which you can go and watch once more. Let us see the examples. If you go out, that is the conditional clause. Will you get me a newspaper? That is the main clause. Here is a question. If you go out, will you get me a newspaper? If you don't go out, you cannot get me a newspaper. That is why it is called conditional. Unless you tell me what is wrong, how will I help you? Now the main clause is how will I help you? And the conditional clause is unless you tell me what is wrong. The word unless, which is a conjunction, joins this clause to the sentence. You will improve if you work hard. Now, if you work hard is the conditional clause. The main clause is you will improve. You will improve, but under a certain condition, in a certain situation. And what is that situation? If you work hard. The door will not open unless you use the right key. Unless you use the right key is the condition. The door will not open is the main clause. In what condition will the door not open? Unless you use the right key. If the box had been full, another box would have been used for the rest of the items. You have many items to put in boxes. So if the box had been full, the first box, then you would take another box, a second box. So another box would have been used for the rest of the items is the main clause. Unless the road is wide, that is the conditional clause. This vehicle will not be able to go there. This vehicle will not be able to go there is the main clause. And unless the road is wide is the conditional clause. If I had a pet parrot, I would teach it to sing. I would teach it to sing is the main clause. If I had a pet parrot, joined by the conjunction if, the condition is that I don't have a parrot. But in case I had a parrot, then I would make it learn to sing. These are some examples of conditional clauses. Now you have seen these examples to make yourself feel comfortable with the use of conditional clauses. Let us now see the rules which govern the conditional clause. I will tell you all the rules in great detail. Let us first understand what is a conditional clause. That is why we are going to define it. A conditional clause is a subordinate clause. Subordinate means less in importance, lower in meaning. A subordinate clause is joined to a sentence and then the sentence forms a complex sentence. There is already a video on this channel on simple, compound and complex sentences which you can watch. A simple sentence has a single clause. It might have many phrases. It has a single verb. A complex sentence has minimum 2 clauses joined by a subordinating conjunction. It needs a conjunction, but the conjunction is subordinating. There is an entire video on conjunctions which I would recommend that you watch. In a complex sentence, you can have 2 clauses or 3 or 4, but only one main clause. The rest of the clauses are all subordinate and each one of them is joined with a conjunction. The conditional clause is a subordinate clause because it expresses, as I told you already, a condition. It expresses a hypothetical situation. What does hypothetical mean? It means imaginary. A situation which is not going to happen usually, but an imaginary situation. Or a condition which is fixed, which has no two ways. It is completely fixed. These are the possibilities of the subordinating conjunction, which is used for joining the clause, which is called as the subordinate clause. The 2 conjunctions which we usually use are if and unless. If is used maximum, unless is also used sometimes. In the earlier slide, I have shown you sentences with unless. Now, whatever examples we have in the slides which are to come, I have used if everywhere because that is the commonest form. So, a complex sentence with 2 clauses and 1 conjunction if or unless uses a clause which is subordinate clause, and that clause is conditional. Let us now see the types. Many viewers have been asking for conditional clauses. So I have given you a very detailed and a very clear video where you get all the ideas about conditional clauses. This slide tells you that there are four types of clauses which we can call conditional. The names are zero conditional, first, second, and third conditionals. A zero conditional is one which speaks about universal truths. In the next slide, we shall see examples of this, and we should also see the structure of the sentence, because the conditional clause has to have a conjunction. We know already that it will be if. And it also needs the finite verb in the subordinate clause and the finite verb in the main clause. There is a relationship between the finite verb in both the main and subordinate clauses. So you need to know the structure, which I will tell you about in the next slide. The first conditional is about future events which are likely to happen. Condition means it is not perfect, it is not certain, it is not something which is guaranteed. Condition always means possibility. So the possibility is very high. It is likely to happen, so possibility is high. We call it first conditional. When the possibility is unlikely, it is very, very low possibility, impossible, then we call it second conditional. Third conditional is a completely unreal condition, and it is related to the past. Something which is already over, you are thinking about it or you are regretting. You are saying that if such and such a thing had happened in the past, then something else would have happened. All these four conditionals we shall talk about in the remaining 4 slides which are there in this video. Zero conditional, as I told you, are universal truths. That means something which doesn't change. Look at the sentence. If you touch anything hot, your fingers get burnt. It happens all the time. It's a universal thing. You cannot say that somebody else gets burnt, but I don't get burnt. Such a thing doesn't happen. Now here, you have to first check the structure. The structure is, you need a conjunction, that is if. In the subordinate clause, that is if, the clause which is joined using if, you have to have the simple present tense of the verb. The finite verb in the clause should be in the simple present tense. Look at the 4 verbs: touch, keep, are, and are. So we have the simple present form. In the main clause also we have the simple present form. This is a zero conditional where both the verbs are simple present forms, the main clause and the subordinate clause. So if you look at the sentences, you will see. Now, if the subordinate clause comes in front, there is always a comma. Suppose you invert the order, then you don't need to use the comma. Go back to the first slide and you will be able to understand this. So you're learning some punctuation. If you touch anything hot, comma, your fingers get burnt. Here we have your fingers get burnt, main clause. If you touch anything hot, subordinate clause. It is the condition of fingers getting burnt. If you keep your mind healthy, you never suffer from stress. People are highly stressed, they are very depressed. So what should you do? If you keep your mind healthy, universal condition, healthy mind, no stress. There is no change. If potatoes are boiled, they become soft. Now you can change the order and remove the comma. You can say potatoes become soft if they are boiled. Full stop, no need for comma. If plants are watered regularly, they grow well. If plants are watered regularly is the subordinate clause where you have the simple present form. Are watered here is the passive form. They grow well, again simple present, but the active form. Then you have these four sentences telling you about zero conditional. You can write many more to help you understand and practice. The first condition, and that is something which is likely to happen in the future. Here again you have conjunction if in the subordinate clause, and the verb in the main clause is a modal verb using will or another modal form. Modal verbs video is also there. Many of you are asking for grammar videos. Please check the list. Subscribe, go to the channel list and check the playlists. You will find all the grammar videos there. So a future event that is possible, a future event that is likely, the condition is a possible condition, that is called the first conditional, where you use the simple present for the conditional clause and you use a will or some other modal form for the main clause. And the verb is, of course, the root verb without to. Bare infinitive we call it. Just the verb as it appears in the present tense. That is the bare verb. If there is an earthquake, all must leave this building. Now here is a future condition, event likely to happen. If there is an earthquake is simple present. If there is an earthquake, conditional clause, all must leave this building, main clause, and that is giving instructions for what is going to happen in the future. If the sun becomes hot, the tourists can rest in the shade of this tree. Can, must, these are modals. So can rest, must leave. If introduces the conditional clause, the sun becomes hot, becomes simple present. Tourists can rest, that is the modal form and the bare verb. If everyone is hungry, we will stop at the next restaurant. If everyone is hungry is the conditional clause. This is a possible condition. We will stop and eat. But the verb is present in the conditional clause and it is will stop because it's a future event. So we use the form will stop, and that is where the first conditional examples end. The second conditional is different from the first conditional because there the possibility is there. Here the possibility is not there. It is unlikely to happen. You are giving a conditional clause which is not true and which might never happen. That is what the second conditional is. So you put the conditional clause verb, the finite verb, in the simple past tense. And the main clause verb gets past modals like would or could. And there you use the verb in the bare form. Look at the sentences. If you were my boss, you could give me the promotion. Now you are not my boss. You are not likely to become my boss. But if you were, that is past, you could give. Now could plus verb, that is the main clause. If the boys knew about the danger, they would avoid going out. There was some problem outside. So it is not, the boys didn't know about the danger. So that is an unlikely condition. So they went out, but they did not know that there was danger. Here you see new past tense, would avoid is the modal plus verb. If we had money, we would have spent it now. Now unlikely, you don't have money. So if we had money, that is the past form. Have past form had. We would have spent. That is the modal structure which you are using. If they found the hidden treasure, they would become rich. Now they are unlikely to find the hidden treasure. But if they found it, they would become rich. This is the second conditional. We have the third conditional, which is the last of the four types. This is our last slide, and you can see here that this is an unreal condition in the past. The action is over. There is no possibility of the action taking place. Unlike the second conditional, which says it's unlikely, but it might someday become likely. Here it is totally unreal. This unreal possibility is where we use the past perfect form. Perfect tenses are always tenses which are complete. So past perfect and would have or could have form for the main clause along with the verb. If this shop had been open, I wouldn't have had to search for another shop. Now in the past, the shop was closed, you searched for another shop, you bought whatever you wanted. So it is totally unreal. You are just saying, if this shop had been open, I wouldn't have had to search for another shop. If everyone had played well, now they cannot play because match is over. If everyone had played well, the team would have won the match. Everyone did not play well, so the team did not win. Unreal, imaginary situation. That is the condition here. If the stars had been visible, the ship would not have lost its way. In olden days, ships used to navigate using the starlight at night. So here is a sentence. If the stars had been visible, stars were not visible and the ship got lost. So now in the past, action is over, you are just thinking about it. If the stars had been visible, the ship would not have lost its way. Then you have, if there had been time, we could have done a better job. If there had been time, when we were doing the job in the past, if we had more time. But that is unreal. The time is never going to come back. Therefore, we are not going to do a better job. These are the conditional sentences. I have given to you in great detail the structure, the examples and the rules. Please follow them. Watch the video many times if you have problem. For each type of conditional clause, make many more sentences and use them so that you become familiar with this item of grammar, since many of you want to learn more grammar. Many of you want to teach also using these videos. Please do that. All the best and thank you.